What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Cinemac Boys Reviews. It's your boy Dakota doing reviews, and Bilal, how you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, excited to talk about this movie.
So, guys, the movie that we are reviewing today is Sicario. So, this is our third Denis Villeneuve movie so far in this little series that we got with Denis Villeneuve. So, first, let's get into before we get into our thoughts, let me go into a little detail about this movie. So, this movie, I think it came out in 2015, and it stars Josh Brolin, Emily Blunt, Benito, I think, Del Toro,
Benito Del Toro, yeah.
and Daniel Kaluuya. So let me see if I can find a little synopsis just tell you guys real quick about this movie before we get into it. So this is from Letterboxd. The borders is just another line to cross. An idealistic FBI agent is enlisted by a government task force to aid in the escalating war against drugs at the border area between the U.S. and Mexico. So, Bilal, I want to know what are your thoughts about this movie? Because
Oh
of course
man.
this is a first time watch for me. It was, and how many times have you rewatched it? I know it was rewatched for
Second
you.
time watch.
Okay, so what were your thoughts?
I mean, wow. The second time I watched this, it just gets better. The opening scene straight up feels so intense, especially with the sound mixing inside this film. I think the sound mixing is so strong. Emily Blunt, she's a superstar. Her performance was out of this world. Benico Baldoro was absolutely excellent, badass, mysterious. He has this unique performance that I really enjoyed of this, and Josh Brolin's performance was so good. And this movie does such a great job of having me invested in the story from the start to finish, and just capture my attention throughout the full runtime. And I thought the pacing of this movie was excellent as well. And there's so much intense scenes that had my heart racing during Sicario. This movie is an absolute masterclass.
So for me, of course, this is my first time watch. Like you said, right off the bat, like besides the other Denis Villeneuve movies that we have watched, this just gets into it.
Yeah.
So if you, we're just gonna go in spoilers because this movie has been out for a couple of years. But if you guys haven't watched it, I would really suggest you guys watching this movie because it's considered for me a masterpiece. Is it for you?
Yeah.
Go watch
Masterclass.
it, come back, listen to our review. So he gets Neve gets it right off the bat. Opening, you hear the sound, the score, you automatically hear it. Sets the tone of this movie. It's going to be very like a grounded movie. Of course, you go right to I think it's Chandler, Arizona, and I think it's you once you get the setting of like Chandler, Arizona, with like the FBI coming down. Of course, you
Yeah.
get Emily Blunt in the FBI like squad, not squad, SWAT card,
SWAT. Yeah.
like the uh, just goes right into the house, opens up like it's like a blazing because of course like the other people get on the ground, but there's this one dude who takes a shot at her, and of course she eliminates the guy. But they were wondering like why did you shoot like technically she didn't point a gun at him. It's like they go in. She told him to put the gun down at first, but he just shoots, and they're wondering like, what's he shooting at? Because he shoots like right beside her, not at her.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
like Daniel Kaluuya's character goes over, and they find this house is like full of like probably 50 bodies.
Yeah. They're like kind of like burnt bodies, I want to say.
It's
Sora.
either burnt or just kind of like what the cartel does is just beat the crap out of people.
True. Yeah.
I think because I think it's kind of like the drug mules coming across to America. Then of course they eliminate them.
Yeah, and then that scene where one of the bodies have like a bomb in it, just blows out, like blows up, and then just have this giant
Is it that,
explosion.
or is there just like a bomb down in the basement area?
I think there's a bomb like outside of the basement area, if that makes sense. That's where like it kind of blew up. And then I thought during that scene, the first time I was watching, I thought that included this character died. This was like so close to the bomb, but luckily he survived.
I thought that too. But that's just like the setting you get right off the bat. This movie's gonna be dark. It's gonna be gritty. Of course, it's got the grain that Denis Villeneuve always does with his movies. I
Yeah.
love the way he still does that. He has never changed that in all his movies I've watched so far. But we get right into it. Of course, after this task force, Josh Brolin's character hears about this, hears about Emily Blunt's character. I think Kate um, thinks that she's a great idea for the little mission that he's got of trying to eliminate the cartel from getting the drugs across to the U.S. border, like taking their leader down over there.
Yeah, but
Then you meet.
like I like the fact that Josh Brolin's character is like a mysterious agent that you really don't know his backstory or know his true intentions during the whole movie. I thought that was a great little element to the story to add that layer of mystery.
Like, of course, I think the other movies he has done is like Into the Blue, the most I think recent one that like acclaimed, because of course this is before he was in the MCU as Thanos, was probably No Country for Old Men,
Yeah, yeah,
and it kind of reminds me of like darker, gritty atmospheres. Like he was the perfect person to play in this role. He is kind of like the asshole leader of the group
yeah,
who don't want to tell them anything. Of course,
yeah,
Benito del Toro is like his like sidekick, of course,
yeah.
and it keeps everything hush
Yeah,
hush. It's kind of like the badass who keeps everything just like
quiet.
doesn't like it, doesn't like to talk a lot. Of course, once you see that with Emily Blunt in the airplane, like Josh Brolin, you can tell he's just the asshole because he tells her, "Oh yeah, you can get the food in the back," and automatically goes to his sleep. And the Benito del Toro's character is like, it's like he's dry. Like Emily Blunt's trying to get some conversation out of him, but he's like just one words, not answering
Yeah,
her the full thing. Of course, she really gets worried about him because, of course, when you see him sleeping, he like has a nightmare, and
yeah,
of course, we figure out later what these nightmares are about that he is having. But I think I like this movie. Of course, like we really see his asshole fight like Josh Brolin, especially once they do like the first mission of bringing the guy's brother in for
yeah,
information. He's telling Emily Blunt and Darren Kaluuya like, "Oh, you're for this. You don't need to know this." And they both get pissed. Then they go to him like, "We need this information now, or we're walking out." Because
yeah,
he tells Darren Kaluuya, he's like, "You're not even be here. You can walk out here." Then once Emily Blunt's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna walk out too," they're kind of like, "Oh shit." Like we
yeah,
kind of need her, so we're going to tell him because I think, of course, Benito, of course, I think he is. You see in the movie he is involved some way in the beginning of the with the drug cartel. Like a lot of people know who he is, especially the brother. Like once he goes into the room, the brother automatically knows because Josh Brolin's like the guy. If you want to speak to me, the guy I got, you know who he's going to, or you're going to
yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah, but the thing I liked about this movie is the fact that they were using Kate because they needed Kate to operate in the U.S. because they needed someone to exist in the federal, like in the FBI, to do their like little mission, and that was the reason why they brought her in to
I
the
think
plot of the story. So they were keeping secrets from her the whole movie, and the way I view the character Kate, she's like a person that wants to do it by the law. She doesn't want to do stuff that's against the law that not James, Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro were doing throughout the whole runtime of this movie.
I think I'm gonna wrap with you with that. So let's go into a little positives before I break this movie down a little bit more. So what are your positives below?
My positives: one, the score absolutely brought the intensity to the next level. Two, I love that scene where they're all like driving with the black cars and there's like this music playing. There's like a little gun shootout that happened. I think that scene was played out really great. The first interrogation scene with what's this actor's name again? He's
Benito del Toro.
Yeah, him with the white suit, like the way he was interrogating that person, that was really good. Also love the way the movie was, like the way the movie ended, like the character that we follow, Antonio, it just has this badassness to it. And there's a scene that I really like when Emily Blunt's character Kay points a gun at him and says, "Don't ever point a weapon at me." Just showcase that he's trying to keep this secret from them and he's doing anything necessary to keep that a secret. And the whole like sickness at the dinner table during the end was excellent.
Okay, for me the positives are of course the score. I think Denis actually took the script and he ran with it and he put his best into it. I think he always does that with his movies. Of course, this definitely shows. He showed the story of what I think the real life cartel is and how America deals with it at real time, like they do, like most of them are doing right now. And we get right into it. Like you get the gritty, you get the where they are doing bad and they're trying to cover up. So, like Josh Brolin and them, because they know they're doing legal shit, but of course
Exactly. Yeah.
they want to cover up and they know if they got to deal with Emily Blunt because if she snitches or does something wrong, their ass is on the line.
Yeah, especially during the last scene where she had to sign those papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, um, Benito Toro, Emily Blunt, um, Josh Brolin, great acting in this.
Um.
I'm really hoping once we get later into the episode, when I look up, they got some at least nominees or won some awards for this in the Oscars. Um, Daniel Kaluuya is good in this, but there's a little bit of negative with him. I'm going to talk about when we get to the negatives. Um, Runtime is perfect.
Yeah, runtime is just 2 hours, easy watch.
Yeah, it's easy. There's no you don't need cut any off of this movie. I think you don't need extend it. It's just I think this besides probably enemy prisoners and this I think prisoners and this has perfect. He gets all his story in at once
Yeah.
and I but besides that, I think that's mostly it for the positives.
Oh,
So you got more? You got another positive?
I think another positive is this. I feel like Daniel Kaluuya's and Emily Blunt's friendship felt so real during the whole like movie. Their interactions were so much fun to watch, and the way they actually care about each other. Also, John Berlin being the person playing Ted, who was working for the cartel, his acting for the little bit he was inside the film was great as well. I want to point that out.
True. Um, do you got any negatives?
Negatives, man. No, this movie is flawless. 5 out of 5. No
Okay,
questions
two
asked.
negatives from me.
Two neg.
One, Daniel Kaluuya should have been more involved in this movie. His character and his relationship with Emily Blunt so good. Especially like at the end when they all come out of the tunnel
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "Where's Kate?" Because you could see that bond, just like they got that insta bond. Like their chemistry acting, I think, is really good in this. And John Berthal, first of all, like Bilal said, we think he's a good guy. He's friends with Reggie, which is Daniel Kaluuya's character, and it turns out that he's actually working with the cartel. It kind of okay. So if you look on Letterboxd, I think like the fourth or fifth name is John Bernthal. So when I saw John Bernthal and saw like the run, like how much we got into the movie, I'm like, you really put him halfway through the movie, and it kind of made me mad because, of course, I don't know. I think this is might been with John Berthel's like on his rise up from Hollywood because of course he was in Walking Dead. I don't know if he got casted as the Punisher yet.
I think he probably got casted for Punisher 2015 for Daredevil, right? Daredevil
Yeah,
season
but I think
2.
they didn't start filming it yet. I think he just
Uh,
got casted.
wait, when did Daredevil season 2 like started
Season
though?
one, I think season one started 2016.
Oh, right, yeah.
Let me look there. Just
No,
there.
season 1 started 2015.
I
Um,
think he didn't. I think Punisher didn't show up to season two though.
yeah, season 2. When was season 2? That's
2016, I think.
Yeah, he could be filming Punisher. I mean, not Punisher, Daredevil during that time.
True. So went up to 2018. Daredevil did 3 seasons, so I'm thinking probably 2017, 2016.
Okay.
Um, but after just seeing that right now, that kind of don't make me mad a little bit because, of course, I think he got like 2 seasons of Walking Dead, and it's just the first time I think we saw John Bernthal. Most of us did as like um not yeah, kind of like you just viewers before we got into like this reviewing and stuff, just as casual watchers. There we go, into like film, TV, and stuff. And for like the general audience, it's probably the first time seeing him. But that's mostly it for the negatives. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite scene from this movie?
Oh, my favorite scene from this movie. Hmm. That's a loaded question. I think Besito El Doro during this scene shooting Emily Blunt's killers that don't ever point a weapon at me. I thought that was super badass and by far my favorite scene in the movie.
Okay, my favorite scene. Of course, I like the whole ending part. Of course,
Yeah, yeah,
right here, the big plot twist from as you guys. I don't know. Denis always has some plot twists in his movies. Um, Benito Torres' character is actually the leader of the Colombian cartel.
yeah. That's a good twist.
Because you thinking he's just like worked as like a side person for the Mexican cartel, and you don't realize he's over the Colombian until, of course, when Josh Brolin tells Emily Blunt like we brought him in because he has a goal and he's going to complete his goal.
Yeah, that was really
It's
shady.
kind of like it's kind of like saying we're using you, but we're also using him so we can eliminate the guy
Yeah,
because of course he said balance, but it's like he's the one that can help the balance because of course if they
man.
eliminate the cartel leader for Mexico, they can get the drug balance between Mexico and Colombia back to the way it was.
I mean, he was a savage. He killed like the guy in front of his family, bro.
No, he killed the family first.
No, during dinner. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You did. Yeah, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, because remember, of course, he killed his wife and he threw his daughter into a thing of acid.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So of course he has revenge shell in his mind. But my favorite part is when he comes up to the dinner table. He sits down. Of course, he just looks at him because the guy automatically knows who he is. He knows he's the leader from the Colombia cartel, and it's kind of like, oh shit. Especially like with his family, and then Benito del Toro tells him, or Alejandro tells him, "Do you speak English? Does your son speak English?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Let's talk English," because of course they don't. No, I think his wife knew English though, because she kind of understand what they were saying. But he's like, they're going back for like you remember. He's like, "You're not gonna get out of this." Then all of a sudden, you don't think of it. Then all of a sudden, he just shoots the kids. He shoots the wife first, then he shoots the kids.
yeah,
And the guy knows the cartel leader from Mexico knows like, oh shit, like I
yeah.
fucked up bad, and I love it.
Yeah, I loved it.
You can eat. You can you can eat your last plate. No, he shoots him.
Yeah. Oh
You
man.
could he just don't care. He
Fact.
got he got one mission. The U.S. wanted him. I think he didn't even care if the U.S. wanted him. Um, but it helped him out. Then what I felt bad the most, it's a little bit side because of course the cop was dirty. It's he told Benito del Toro, he's like, I got a son. Of course we see during the whole
Oh
movie
yeah.
this cop interacting with his son. His son brings breakfast. They go out to play soccer and everything. That day they go out to play some soccer and because he told us that I'm working the night shift. And when like the side hustler for the main cartel leader from Mexico, when they pull him over, and Benito del Toro shoots him, he also shoots the cop.
Yeah. I felt so bad because they were like showing him as family, like his son, caring about him during the whole movie, like in some like some points of the movie. So like during those sequence, you don't really know why they're showing that family until the end of the movie. Then you just get this emotional collapse that makes you feel for the character that you barely know.
So before we get into the thing, the one thing I like about this ending, also like at the very end, like after we figure out, like after makes Emily Blunt sign the papers and everything, what did Josh Brolin told her? We take out the main one, Mexico's gonna go chaos.
Yeah,
Of course, when the boy, of course they know. I think they know that the father's dead. The mother takes him out to soccer practice or a soccer game, and you start hearing shooting off in the distance, and you know that Mexico is just all the all the gangs over there, and like everybody's selling the drugs and everything, and like what left is left of the cartel is going down here because of course they don't got a leader anymore. And it's like it's kind of like every man for himself, but of course like the innocents got to like protect them, protect their souls.
exactly.
But of course they gotta live their daily lives because they just go on playing, keep on playing the soccer game. Which great title card at the end, by the way. They
Oh
waited to
yeah,
the title
yeah,
card to the very end,
yeah,
so I like that. When I was younger, I did not like used to like title cards like very end of the movie, but as the older I get, I think the more I like it now.
yeah. I like title cards at the end of the movie better than beginning of the movie.
So not from our best scene. What's the one scene that sticks is going to stick in your head when you always think about this movie?
I think it's when the scene when Del Toro says something about their American ears won't. This won't make sense to your American ears or something like that. That quote.
Oh, what do you say? Oh, yeah, when do you say that? I remember that quote.
Yeah, it's on my head. To Emily Blunt.
Is that at the very end or the very beginning?
It was in the beginning.
Yes, I think it's on the. No, it's not on the plane. It's the when they're going to the rendezvous.
Yeah, 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 bro. What's the quote?
I think that's the exact quote you just said
I think so. Let me
because of
check.
course they're because she don't understand what they're going to do,
Yeah,
and
and
like I think he
that's when I knew Josh Berlin's character and Jonko were just like hiding something from her and having this mystery element that we had to figure out what their true intentions are, which I really like about the movie.
but I think the one scene that always sticks with me I think is still the dinner table
Oh, I didn't tell. That's a good scene.
because like I just said it just because you can feel the tension. Like this whole entire movie's like tense and you're on the edge of your seat, but this is the scene because especially one more thing now the scene I didn't mention when he looks at him he's like when he's like oh yeah you know I did what to your wife right and Benicio del Toro is like yeah you forgot about my daughter too.
Oh, I found a quote. Nothing will make sense to your American ears. You will doubt everything that we do, but in the end, you'll understand. That just that scene was just foreshadowing the whole movie.
True.
That quote.
But of course, like once he told the guy, he's like, "You remember my daughter?" The guy got like a little smart, like, "Oh yeah, I just threw your daughter into like a pit of acid, and you couldn't do nothing about it."
Yeah.
But it's like he pulled a reverse card, shot the kids and the wife,
Yeah, man.
because of course he could just shot him, but of course he had it before he shot him. He had to take away he took, what that guy took away from him, his family. So he made him feel a little bit, just for a couple minutes, like, you feel how I feel now.
Yeah. Savage.
Um, was so let's go, before we can break more of the movie down. Let's do the Rotten Tomato predictions for the audience and the score.
Okay, you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first? Oh, yeah, right. All right.
Oh no, hold up there. Let's do that. You just even made it smarter for me. Okay, so what do you think the audience is?
95.
97.
All
What do you
right.
think the critic scores?
I'm going to say 92.
Yeah, I'm thinking 92 also.
Oh, damn.
I was thinking 92 before you said it. So let's look up Sicario. Rotten Tomatoes.
But wait.
We hit Ron as critic score.
Let's go. Wait. Critic score?
Yeah, it was 92.
Hell yeah. And what was the audience score?
85.
That's kind of low. That's bugging.
So just the synopsis real quick of like, it's a little bit more like, not to pun anything but blunt. Um Led by outstanding work from Emily Blunt and Benicio del Toro, Sicario is a taunt, tightly wound thriller or rounded thriller with much more on its mind than attended attention getting set pieces. What? Oh, that's like the critical like stance on the movie, like the summary of what Letterboxd
Uh,
wrote.
I don't really like that one.
So I'm just going to tell you right now. Of course, Denis never directed the sequel.
Yeah, he couldn't direct the sequel because he was doing Blade Runner 2049 during that time.
Are you serious? Why did he not just like wait?
Huh?
Okay, so I'm going to just tell you, to just a little bit off a little sidetrack. Just think, Ridley Scott has always said this. What about if Denis did Sicario, right? So really, Scott was like, oh, what did he direct at that time? Um, what did he direct in 2017?
Alien Covenant.
Yes, he got a little bit mad that he done Alien Covenant no, yeah, and he wished he done Blade Runner instead.
Yeah, I think.
Because the Alien movies, of course, had different directors always, and Blade Runner one was just like his project. So he really
True.
wished he done 2049.
Yeah,
So if he done 2049, then he could have done Sicario too. But
facts.
the critic score for Day of the Soldado is 62% critic score, 65 audience score.
That seems bad, right? It's not as good at this one, but it's still a good movie though. So
I'm thinking about watching it tomorrow. So
sounds good.
um so let's get into our letterbox reviews. Bilal has 3. I got 5. So Bilal, let's give us
Um, I mean,
yours.
the first one I really like was pretty much just held my breath for 2 hours straight. What a ride! I mean, we did the exact same thing. That's a 5 star. That's really accurate. Um, Listen, none will make sense to your American. There's the quote. American ears and you will doubt everything that we do, but in the end, you'll understand. How do you kill a wolf? You send a bigger wolf to kill it. Bian Benicio del Toro was that wolf. Facts, he was that wolf. So,
True.
how do you expect me to not fall for Bianco del Toro when he's dropping ghost badass one-liners like he's giving out candy the whole goddamn movie? I like that one. That's
True.
facts.
So my five, I think these are all 5 stars. Yeah, these are all 5-star reviews. So my first one is, can't believe I took so long to watch this masterpiece. That's me
Uh,
also.
uh,
Yeah, that's me also. Um the next one is, now that's one hell of a movie. This this to me God. He told him that right before he shot him too. I remember that line.
yeah,
Denis Villeneuve, man, you are so fucking great.
facts, facts.
The third one, just guys being dudes. That's what I thought too. Fourth review. Now finish your meal. That's what he
Absolutely.
tells him. Now finish your meal. Right before he shoots him. And then the fifth and final review. This is how I felt playing Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recall?
Ghost Recon.
Recon. Is that a
You know,
video
like
game?
a uh Rainbow Six.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what I kind of felt like. That or Call of Duty at the very end.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty, like one of the missions. What's that mission? Clean house and Modern Warfare.
What was it? You know how they're making that Travis Scott movie Astro Drift?
Yeah.
That's what I
Oh
thought when I watched Benito del Toro's character, his point of view. I'm like, is this what Astro Drift's gonna feel like?
yeah, I probably will.
So I kind of okay. So before we end the podcast, let's break down a couple more scenes and get like a perspective on it. So at the end of the movie, you see Emily Blunt on her deck, and you hear a voice from inside, and it's Benito del Toro say, "Oh, you see off the ledges now, or like the balconies now." Because
Yeah,
of course I think they got a price on their head, because of course the Americans have came over there, they have done their crap, and Mexico is pissed, and they're gonna come over here now because it's still Arizona. Arizona and Mexico, all they have to do is cross the border,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they go and find out who these people are and try to get them. But of course, she comes back in the room, and it's dark. Like he kind of probably turned all the lights out. Very dark feeling, like of course the Neville does.
yeah,
Um, She sits down. Of course, you see a gun in his hand. So you like, because of course she's always said, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go tell them." So I'm thinking, Josh Brolin has told him to come take her out and end the problem. Um, so he walks over there to her. He sits down in the chair across from her, and he pulls a paper across from her to her, and he's like, "Sign this. This tells that we done everything legally." And of course, she's like resisting, like, "I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this." And of course, he's like, he puts the gun up to her neck. He's like, "If I do this, it's gonna look like you unalived yourself."
Oh yeah, that's savage.
And I'm like, you could tell he's a leader of a cartel. He
Yeah,
acts perfectly. The way he dresses, the way, especially the way he tortured the guy at the beginning. He came in like he's the boss. Like when he walks in the room, you better get the fuck out. Or like the guy at the beginning, the two guys, the one and the other guy. Have you ever watched the show Burn Notice?
no.
So if you guys have on the podcast, the main guy on Boners is this guy with the mustache. He knows get the hell out of the room. Of course, Josh Brolin stays in there because I think he's just there. He's just kind of there for a good time.
Yeah,
That's what it reminds me of. Of course, they turn the camera on, and of course, they gotta have evidence and stuff. Um, but Go back to the end of the scene. He looks at her and she signs. And he's just casual. He just takes the clip out of the gun, takes the bullet out of the chamber, breaks the gun apart, throws it around in the trash. Of course, he goes outside. He tells you, he's like, you better go to a small town. Nobody will find you in a small town. And he walks outside. She goes on her balcony, pulls her gun out, points it at him. He knows it too. He turns around. He just stands there. Like, you could see this dude has balls. Like, he don't care. He don't give a fuck. He just stands there and looks at her. And he kind of knows that she's not going to shoot him.
Yeah.
Because I think going through his head is, of course, he's the leader of the Colombian cartel. So if the Colombians find out who the hell killed him,
She's
she will
dead.
have, if she's dead. So she just drops and he just walks on. So I thought that scene, it has that thrilling, like, I thought he was going to shoot her after she signed.
I actually, Emily Blunt really showed the fear at Kate at that moment so well. Like
True.
Kate, like she wants to do it by the law. She didn't approve of the methods of these characters, and the fact that she has to go against her belief of the law to sign the paperwork to live. That's something that's gonna haunt her, which sucks to see that Emily Blood was in the sequel for Sicario. So
If
we probably
Letterboxd is right, the cast is her, Benito del Toro, and Josh Brolin for Sicario 3.
hopefully, because I really want to see these characters return because they're like really good characters, and I feel
So I
like
looked it up. I heard that Christopher McQuarrie, the director of Mission Impossible, the Mission Impossible
mm,
movies, which is Bilal's like favorite franchise, one of
yeah,
Bilal's favorite franchises, is in like talks to like be something to do with it, like a producer. I don't know if he's going to direct it. I heard some things that Denis might direct the third one
I
because, of
hope
course, he said
so.
he wants to do a project right before Doom Messiah, and of course, I think this has the script is nearly done, so this might be the project that he's going to do.
I hope so. I hope so.
Um, but what did you think about the end scene?
The
Like the
ending scene when they were playing soccer, or the ending scene.
no, not that scene, but like him and Emily Blunt's like the whole thing right there.
That whole scene had my heart like beeping like crazy because, first of all, Banco del Toro just plays his character so well, like smart, intelligent, but at the same time scary, and he's a character that brings dominance to the screen that he's in. Like any character that he's in front of, fear him. So seeing that scene unfold and him slowly giving the paperwork and pointing the gun at Emily Blunt's neck was so well acted, so well written, and you really do feel the fear of Emily Blunt's character, but in the same time, you see like this character is like emotionless and he's fearless and he doesn't give a shit. Like he's going to do what he needs to do any means necessary. It kind of reminds me of Gustavo Fring from not Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, when he showed up and showed this fear to the characters. It was some those two elements just work so well during that scene, and I feel like both both Emily Blood and Bianco just were so good in it.
So before we end the episode, let's end on our last thing that we always do. Always look up, did they get nominated or how many Oscars did this movie win? So when I was watching this on Prime, so if you guys do have Prime, you guys will have to get the EMG Plus included into it to watch this movie, or that's the only place that's streaming if you guys want to watch it. Or I think it's on like Vudu, Apple,
Outside
Google Play, all
Paramount,
that stuff. What is it?
outside Paramount Plus.
Is it on Paramount Plus also?
I don't know. It was in Canada's Paramount Plus, so
Let me see. If you're in Canada, okay, so if you're Canada or like UK or anything, check Paramount Plus. But in US, I think the only place is Prime Video. But guys, remember to include MG. What was it? MGM Plus. But let's look up to Sicario Oscars. I saw, but what I was going back on to before I watched this movie, it said it had 3 Oscar nominations. So
oh, it's also on Netflix, by the way, in Canada, right there, right there. It's on
I didn't
Netflix.
even know that. Okay, so Netflix, Paramount Plus for Canada, Prime Video for America. Okay, so Academy Awards. So we got yeah, it's the Academy, right? Yeah. So it only got 3 nominees. It didn't win nothing. Only
Ew.
got nominated. So it got animated for cinematography, music written, so best achievement in music, so probably music, and then sound editing.
True, but I did 2015 was a stack year for movies too.
Let's look. So between 16 Oscars, I kind of want to know what the nominees and winners were because this movie, um, best actor was okay. So was Benito or was he the leading or was Brolin the leading?
I'll say Burnley was the lead and Benito was like supporting. I'll say because you see Josh Berlin more than Benito.
Oh, this is the year that really I think pissed everyone off because I think Leonardo DiCaprio won for The Revenant, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of like he's been there for so long. But it looks like the nominees were great for that. Let's look at actress wise. Support actor. Um. Oh, yeah. You have the guy from Bridge of Spies, Mark Ruffalo for a Spotlight, Sylvester Stallone for Creed, um, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, and
Tom,
Christian Bale for the yeah Tom Hardy for The Revenant,
Tom Hardy should won an Oscar that year, by the way, in my opinion. But it's
and
what it is.
Christian Bale for The Big Short. Best actress. So yeah, Brie Larson who won for Room, which I heard The Room is really good. Um, Kate Blanchett and Jennifer Lawrence.
For
That's just
Winter's
some
Bone,
enough for Joy.
oh for Jewel.
Um, so let's go to Best Picture. I kind of want to see what Best Picture got this year. So Spotlight won for Best Picture. The other nominees was Bridge of Spies, Mad Max Fury Road, which
Oh,
guys we might be reviewing that in the later episodes where we got Furiosa coming out this year. The Revenant, The Martian, The Big Short, Room, and Brooklyn. Okay, besides Brooklyn, I don't know what Brooklyn is. I might have to look this up. Um, you could probably put Sicario in there.
yeah, exactly.
I want to see what Spotlight is real quick. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of like The Office. This reminds me of The Office, but serious. So I can see probably why I won. People love The Office. I do love The Office. You like The Office?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but that's mostly it. Oh, let's look at supporting. Was there any supporting in this? No. Ooh, I didn't even know that. But that's it. Oh
Yeah.
wait. For I think that's mostly it for the podcast for this episode. For episode 3, where we did Sicario. Oh yeah, where would this rank right now in your 3 Denis Villeneuve movies?
The three we've seen so far.
Yeah,
Prisoner, Sicario, The Enemy.
I got Sicario, Prisoner's Enemy.
Eh,
I
it's
don't know. I
valid.
think I just like like kind of like drug movies, like drug cartel,
I
like
mean,
drug gore movies. So much.
all the reason that Prisoners over Sicario is Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal's performance were like unreal. Plus, I feel like that movie was way more intense than Sicario and kept me more invested, slightly more, but it's close between those two.
What was just? I think that's it. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. So, guys, this is the end of episode 3 right now. So, gain a little bit what we're going to go into. Let's do a little preview of our podcast episode and next week's episode. For the podcast, which will, if you guys haven't, we just released. We're recording this on Tuesday. We just released a new episode of the podcast yesterday. So this would be posted on Friday. So Monday we posted a new episode. We talk about Argyle, Sonic 3, of course, we do a spy draft. It will
yeah.
be on Apple Podcast, Spotify, of course, YouTube. If you guys want to see the video version, go follow, of course, all the social medias: the TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I know I've been not been posting lately on there, but I'm definitely going to get right back into it because, of course, I think we got to spread the word, get as many people on here. But preview for our next episode, for episode 4, the Cinematic Boys reviews. I think the next movie's Arrival, isn't it?
Oh,
Let me go look. Let me look real quick. But I think our next movie is Arrival, which I haven't seen. Arrival. This is the last like American release Denis Villeneuve movie, except Doom Part 2, that I haven't seen yet. So once that is done, I just gotta wait for Doom Part 2. But let me look real quick. I'm definitely gonna love the next two because we got Blade Runner and Doom Part 1. So look, Denis Villeneuve. I think the next one is. Yeah, the next one is Arrival. So
wait.
Arrival will be the episode 4, and I'm really looking forward to Arrival, especially after these 3 Denis Villeneuve movies I've watched so far. And of course, watching Blade Runner 2049 and Doom Part 1. Of course, looking to how good Doom Part 2 is. Um,
I
so
think it,
guys,
I think it before you.
oh yeah, true. Guys, if you didn't know, if you're okay, of course, if you guys are new here and first time listening to us, hit that follow button if you guys are Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and also give us a rating. Leave us a comment with our rating, with whatever your rating is. Um, we would really appreciate that. Of course, um, what's the best way to share a podcast like this is organically. So if you guys got friends, um, family that love movies, share this podcast out with them. And of course, the best way to also expand us is to follow the social medias right below, because the two biggest ones that push us out there, of course, besides Spotify and Apple, of course, is YouTube, and the really big one is TikTok. TikTok is like the biggest social media to get you expanded out there. It doesn't matter if you're film, anything. So, guys, follow it. It should be, if you guys go to the Instagram, it will be in the link tree right above. Go to it. Of course, follow all our social medias on there. But, guys, I can't wait for you guys to hear our next episode next week. I didn't even talk about this podcast episode for you this coming week. So, besides our review, so for our current podcast coming up, that's going to come out this coming Monday. Me and Bilal go try to see not Linka,
Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein, which is the new Diablo Cody movie. Of course, if you guys didn't know, Diablo Cody has written Jennifer's Body and the award-winning Juno, and it's directed by Robin Williams' daughter Zelda Williams, her directorial debut. Of course, we got some big news come out this week. There's somebody that has passed away recently. I kind of want to leave for that episode. That is really big, not only in music but of course in acting also. See you guys next Monday for episode 5 of the Cinematic Boys podcast. And Bilal, I also used Saturday to record the episode.
All right, NBK out.